Now presenting Mr. Mike Coyne, Governor's Hurricane Conference board member representing the National Weather Service.
Good afternoon, everyone. Our next award is the Tropical Meteorology Award. It's presented to an individual or organization that has made outstanding or substantial contributions to the advancement and knowledge, application, or understanding of the hurricane forecasting and warning process in the state of Florida. Since 2004, Mr. Mike Boylan has been educating people about trends, model runs, and everything else tropical weather related through his website. He does not forecast, but his dedication and contributions to the citizens of Florida and providing tropical weather information in layman's terms, helping to explain what the forecast trends mean and how to follow all the extensive maps, charts, and graphs located on his website, Mike's weather page, aka spaghettimodels.com. The 2021 Tropical Meteorology Award goes to Mike Boylan of Mike's weather page.
Just click on Mike's page, Trump Doggy Nation. Well, there'll always be some haters, but they don't understand. Mike's got a friend and 100,000 more across the land. Well, if you want to know it first and you want to know it right and you want to have time to plan, Drunk Donkey Nation tells your friend, Mike, he's your man. And he's gonna tell you all about the wind and the rain. Gonna tell you if it's gonna be a storm or if it's gonna be a hurricane. Don't you worry about the news others try to hide. Click on Mike's page, Drunk Donkey Nationwide. Yeah, here in Mike's page, Drunk Donkey Nationwide.
All right, how about that? Good morning, everybody. What's cooking out there in the internet world? We watch video from Barrel, Category 1 Barrel, just a few weeks ago, it seems like. And now we are actively tracking possibly something next week. Got my eyes all over it. Hunter's watching it too. So, good morning. Let's talk about it. That's what we do, man. We'll say hello for a little bit first. This is our little casual area. We hang out. It's romper room session. Dogs like to sleep. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Miss Shelley. Our admin since 16 now. We did a poll out. 87.9 people. 87% of people love Shelley. 87.9. The numbers are going up. I'm still about 60%. Good morning to our Brew crew over here in our special little chat area, mwpchat.com, for all our supporters. Thank you so much. This could be one. This could be the one. We'll see. Not the one, I mean, just the one that we talk about next. But, man, what a day yesterday, Carolina Beach, man. It was terrible. I got friends that live there, and they said they'd never seen anything like it for that area. We're going to show you some latest rainfall totals there, but it was a 1 in 1,000 year rain event. That means 18 inches of rain fell in 12 hours in the Carolina Beach area. So, hey, John Mookie, what's up, buddy? I just saw Shabby last night. So, how's everybody doing? We're going to say hi for about 2 minutes here, and then we'll go right into tropics. What's up, James? Mr. O Delgado. Softball coming up soon. Amanda from Polk. Stefan from Fort Myers Beach. We don't want another one down there, right? Ashley from the Panhandle. We're going to talk about it, David Baird, just a few minutes, buddy. We're going to talk about all these possibilities. Matthew from West Chase. What's up, Jim? Nice see you from Inglewood. That's where we rode out. Ian, just south of Inglewood. Crazy. Debbie from Holiday. I lived in Holiday. Let's just get your brother now, because it's a BOGO day. Hunter, I didn't think dogs could be jealous, but I had Louie up this morning, and Hunter actually gave me the dog eye. He was so sad that I had his brother on my lap that he literally looked sad. So I didn't think dogs could be emotional, but they are. Oh, man. Here's some great advice from our good friends from ABC Fine Wine and Spirits. I love looking at their photos. Who loves salt on their margarita rim? I surely do. One thing that Julie hates that I do is when she orders a margarita, I always take my finger and take the salt off her rim. Now, is that not love? She had to know where my hands have been. I could have just got done grabbing Louie here. But big thanks to ABC Fine Wine and Spirits. Don't forget, we got 2 awesome meet and greets with free Spaghetti Model IPA samples, October 9th in Winter Garden and October 10th at Cocoa Beach. So if you live in those areas, make sure you swing by. We're going to have a lot of fun. 5 to 7 p.m. Meet and greet there at ABC. So, and I just text them. I said, listen, they watch the weather here in Florida too. I always text my good buddy Sean. I let him know we could have something brewing for next week here in Florida. So, oh man! And then this weekend, of course, is our Tampa Bay Brewing Company big party in West Chase here. So hopefully, locals are going to be hanging out with us 4 to 7 p.m. for that. The official first tasting of the Spaghetti Model IPA. And it is so ironic. I knew this was going to happen. As soon as we released our Spaghetti Model IPA, we were going to have something to talk about, possibly in Florida. It just had that weird gut feeling. So, hey, Dale. Oh, yeah, Dale, we got to talk, man. Oh, okay, so what's this sticker up here? This is a Hurricane Hunter plane. So Julie got a Cricut machine, and my lovely wife's first project is making me my Hurricane. That's our Hurricane logo. It's a little different than the official one. This is the one we use and everything, and it'll be in red. But she's made me 10 of these that I'm going to put on my back tailgate with the storms that I have been in with my truck. Now, I've been in about 13 storms, but my truck has been in 10 storms, 4 majors, fixing to be 5. Didn't say that. But I'm going to have this on my truck. So there's my new addition. Thank you, Julie. All right, rainfall from yesterday. Let's talk about that real quick. So I guess we could put Louie down. We're going to say hi at the end. We always do, but I want to get right into weather. Hey, what's up there, Habanera from Belize? What's up, Belize? Yep, we're going to talk all about the storms here. Don't go anywhere. All right, we're going to see you. See you, buddy. We're going camping next week. Going to Talladega. All right. Rainfall. Holy crap. All right, so first off, the reason this thing wasn't named, okay, we talked a lot about this yesterday. It was not named. It's PTC-8. It never was Helene. We had a frontal line, and frontal lines produce little vorticities, and sometimes they get spinning. And this one had a spin to it. It never got detached. It technically was a frontal line, basically. Winds from the north, winds from the south, shoved all this, obviously, weather, and it's still ongoing today. We could have some flooding today north of this. But, man, these rainfall totals yesterday, you talk about rain training, man, 18 inches in 12 hours. Some of these totals are coming in at 20 to 24, 22 feet. 2 feet popping in some of these purple spots. Man, so that was incredible. It was just epic. Like a no-name storm some folks, a lot of this no-name storm was a lot of folks' worst experience from a tropical system. Again, the number one theme here I try to message everybody is we don't get wrapped up in category strengths, okay? Every storm's different. This wasn't even technically named yet, and it produced some of the worst conditions for many, 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 many people, and they don't want to see any more tropics, trust me. Water is a lot worse than wind a lot of time. So that was a serious day yesterday across the Carolinas. This is North Carolina primarily. Crazy. All right, so I know they're recovering from that. What do we got today real quick before we get into tropics? Well, I was a little surprised today. We got a dark green area for you guys over there on the East Coast, Shelly included. This is a current surface chart showing a frontal line dip down here through Florida. Look at that blue frontal line. And if you look at current radar, we got a lot of rain in South Florida, Naples, Miami, northward, Keys. Current radar, man, solid line, solid frontal line. So there's always, the front's always push the rain down in front of it. Blop, we got that big old blob of rain down in Florida right now. However, that frontal line also fuels things. Later today, we're going to get some storms popping for the East Coast to watch. So there could be some sneaky thunderstorms later today across the Florida East Coast. So pay attention to that. All because of this frontal line here. Let me draw it. That frontal line, oh, that didn't come out very good. But that little frontal line there, and that's pushing all this rain currently there. So that's what we got today. And let me go back to the storm map real quick, because we do have current rain, pretty heavy rain occurring, and we do have a flood chance still today here for northern part of North Carolina into Virginia some. So we could see some heavy rain today. We still have some rain training going on currently happening right now. As a matter of fact, let's put that on. Then we're going to go right into tropics, I promise. I got to stretch it out an hour. I'm under contract with Mike's weather page to go an hour. But here's the current radar. And there you go. Heavy rain across the Outer Banks currently. And you can almost see it. This is the old track here. Our thing's spinning, literally, right here. And all this moisture is coming in with it. So that's happening right now. All from our old PTC 8. All right. Tropics in a nutshell. Here's what we got. So let me go back to 2 right there. That's our tropics map. All right. So a lot of people question when I post things. They're like, but I don't see it on the National Hurricane Center. Because you don't. This is the National Hurricane Center 7-day outlook. So why is this dude Mike pushing models talking about things that aren't there? Well, because I like to look long range, bottom line. Sometimes I'm right, sometimes I'm not me. Models. Sometimes models are right, sometimes models are wrong. You know, I choose what I put out there, obviously, because you could pick a model any day of the week and show something. But when I see a pattern developing, when I look at history, when I look at conditions, when I look at consistency, then I decide to post it. You know, and we've been talking about this area coming up from the Western Caribbean now since Friday, Saturday, and I wake up every morning, and this morning is no different. Thank goodness I woke up this morning. And we're seeing model support. So nothing's official yet, trust me, but I think we're going to see something official soon. And that's when it gets real. All right, so we don't have anything down there. Again, you know, I like to look long range. It's not official. I'm not a meteorologist, but this is what I like to do. And I've always done it. And I get gut feelings a lot of times. Sometimes I'm right, sometimes I'm wrong. But this one's got that feeling that we're going to see something pulling up into the Gulf next week. Okay, and I'm going to show you a lot of support for that now. So that's what we got currently. Gordon's not going anywhere. That same front line that we talked about here is going to pick this up and go that way. So we have no strong Bermuda high. Basically, this whole area here has been terribly ever since Debbie came along, the Atlantic's been shut down, basically. We don't have an ITC line. We don't have our typical, you know, winds rolling in, spinning our systems. It's been, so now we look at other things. This is the time of year you look at old frontal lines that leave behind juice, which we're kind of seeing now. And we also look at these CAG setups that are big Central American gyres that can work in combination with these old fronts. So we got a lot of things stacking up here that might allow tropics to get brewing. So long range, you know, these maps, this is kind of the same general area we're looking at. It's a little behind, but these maps, I don't like them very much, but it is showing, next week, this general area. Both sides of the Central America could have something going. They also show this, but I don't know. But I don't like this map. It's wrong a lot. But we did have this yesterday. So this is a really interesting map that got posted to the Climate Prediction Center. I was surprised that they focused on the southeast. It's not a map that they typically share. But if you read their discussion, they talked about a tropical system possibly heading up next week. And they actually highlighted lower Florida with winds, which is really weird. And they specifically show the rain in the dark green and then even rain chances north. So this was posted yesterday from NOAA as a, kind of what they're looking at. So it kind of builds the case of maybe something's brewing that, for them to even put this out, which was a little rare to me. Couple reasons. We're going to go right in the models here, but these are important things to show you. One is this ocean heat content. It is like through the roof. This is the hot water that's down there below the surface. It's untapped. It's hot, the hottest of the whole basin, basically. Red is bad because it's hot. So we got incredible heat content here. We have, this is a water anomaly map on tropical tidbits. This is basically showing you the water temperatures are above their 30-year average by a few degrees. And we got this MJO. Not a lot of discussion on this, but we're entering a slightly favorable MJO cycle here with upper level winds. This is right smack dab the exact time frame right here. This right here. So if this comes true, this is September 26th-ish. This helps storms brew. So everything's kind of painting a picture here like something could try to get going. I posted this earlier. This is an awesome vorticity map, also on Tropical Tidbits. We're going to leave it up here for a second, but this basically shows you, page marker does not have access. Darn it. No, well. We'll do it the old way. Okay, so I'm going to circle the Pacific. So we'll all look at the Pacific here. So the Pacific winds are coming in west to east, okay? Kind of pushing moisture around Central America, okay? We also have winds on the Caribbean side originally coming in from the east to the west. So basically, these winds go this way, these winds go that way. We get a general lowering pressure of a lot of natural spin from the north, from the south. And sometimes these things can actually spawn a little low pressure area that gets kicked up. So you follow this little area right here, and this has been shown for days, an area that's going to pop up out of that Central American gyre. And so that's the seed that this thing needs to get going. And this is the latest GFS that shows this vorticity getting going here early week. We can start to see this thing brew over the weekend. This is starts to show here about Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So that's how it happens, man. It's so fascinating to see this get going from this natural lot of juice. So here's some latest modeling also on tropicaltidbits.com. Yesterday, so we've had this general trend of modeling coming up. Yesterday we had a couple of Euro AI runs and GFS runs running into a high pressure, but now they kind of stopped that, that was so weird. You look at consistency and stuff. So the Euro AI now is back north. The GFS is back north, northeast, northeast. And now the main Euro, which was not showing anything, now is showing 1,000 millibar low. So what's fascinating, I guess, their consistency is all these are Thursday, Friday next week. We got the Euro AI, we got the Euro main run, we got the GFS, and we have the Canadian. So, that's how it starts. One thing I've learned is consistency of models, history, the pattern the timing of the season that we're in. We don't look at intensity this far out. Intensity models usually are a little underdone, not overdone on these operational models. So yeah, I'm watching this like a hawk. Okay, there's no way in the world anybody can say where it's going, because right now it's not even an it. You know, I don't mean to sarcastic when somebody says, will it hit? Well, first off, it's not even there yet. It's just a theory, but it's something we got to pay attention to. And we're talking next week. Like, this thing could be organizing by this time next week. I thought we would get a circle at 8. We didn't. So I don't know. But and the National Hurricane Center, or WPC, rains only showed 6 to 8 inches for lower North Carolina too. That didn't happen. Totally missed that forecast. That's why I show the Euro, and how many times have I said it on here, right? Don't look at those main rain maps. They just show you the generalization of where the rains can happen. You look at those operational runs, and we saw that. The HRR showed it, double-digit rains. The Euro showed double-digit rains. GFS showed double-digit rains, but the official forecast showed 6 to 8. They didn't even close the schools up there. I don't get it. Seems like the more we go in time, the worse forecasting is becoming, mainly with the models, but I don't know. Weather's always changing. So we're going to look at all the models here for sure. This is next week timing for that. And my trusty KMA that everybody knows that I follow, that I love, is very on this idea too. So we're only going to focus on the Western Caribbean. We're going to start out with the latest 3 or 4 runs of every model. I want to show you timing, show you, possibilities. Let me tell you, if you're new to this kind of stuff, we're not focused on a specific location right now. We're just looking at the general idea right now. We're looking at general steering currents right now. We're looking for model consistency. And we're kind of getting that. We're talking a system within a week here. Like, I don't know what's going on with modeling and forecasting, but when I first started doing this, I felt comfortable with 10-day forecasts, and now we're like within a week here, and there's crickets. But I like to get people on the idea, So the latest GFS, now this is a low pressure map. This basically shows you pressure. Lower the pressure, stronger the storm. Again, we don't look at intensity though. That's a problem. I caution saying it's only 1,000 millibar, because the Euro is the worst at early season or early model prediction with intensity. So we're really dealing with the fact that we have the conditions are favorable. We have history, conditions, and now we have model support. So to me, from what I learned all these years, it's something to really take serious. That's a possibility. That's the bottom line. Could be wrong. If I am, I am. But Debbie took longer than I thought. And the reason Debbie didn't happen right away is it never had a seed. It never had any circulation. Totally different setup. Should have known better than that. We still didn't have 100% model support with Debbie Foreman when it was supposed to down here in the Caribbean. That seed that it took was actually the Yucatan plant, made that spin. Once these things get spinning like a top, they get going. But if it doesn't have spin, systems that don't have spin take a long time. So anyway, all right. So this is kind of the general trend here, through the weekend. Lowering pressures, basically blue is low pressures. That's going to make things rainy and juicy. We got a lot of fuel down there. Here's basically your thing getting going here on Sunday. And this is the latest few. Unfortunately, it passes that gap. We know systems that get going here are trouble. 999, you can see it getting going now. There's a front coming into play. Year of the fronts. Let me tell you, patterns are set up early in the season. The reason I posted yesterday's KMA, Euro AI, and CMC, those 3 models have done phenomenal this year with model prediction. Once Debbie came through, we've had front after front after front. So we have to kind of think there's going to be a front, there's going to be something lifting this thing eventually, and there's going to be something turning this thing northeast eventually, based on what we've seen this whole season, okay? Fronts are now coming down quite frequently. We have one today through Florida. You would want to think there's going to be one next week, and then we're starting to see it come into play here next Wednesday. But it's already developing next Wednesday, and you know, that's pretty dang strong. 9:49. I ain't got to tell you that. That would be next Friday. Again, don't focus on the track, because if this thing turns a little bit, this is next. Basically, this is next Wednesday. You can start feeling it as early as Tuesday if this thing turned a little bit towards South Florida. So, again, it's not an it right now. There's no it. There's nothing official. We're just looking in the future. We're guessing. But, again, this thing does a little weird turn at the end, I will admit. But, again, it's weird. But, obviously, it's enough to say, oh, boy, you know, that's a strong system. Now, the last run, that was the 06Z, okay? That's an odd turn. Now, let's look at the OZ overnight model. Oh my God, it doesn't do that odd turn, okay? It nears the Keys here on Wednesday, and it does the classic through the state. So that's a possibility. 2 models runs, very consistent. That would be a rough system crossing Cuba there, through, you know, all too well, right? And then the Carolinas dealing with it as it. You know, so I had a double whammy right there. All right, so yesterday's 18Z GFS. A little bit to the west, it takes its time this time. Just sits there, and then it finally, you know, 930 millibar. So that a little less logical because it stalls. But again, the consistency, right? And then we'll look at one more model run, the 12Z. This was the odd Euro AI. Look at this high pressure building in. So this was a weird couple runs we had where they were basically turning. You know, high pressure winds here steer it. They spin clockwise. And that was the Euro AI. So that happened yesterday. Not saying it couldn't happen, but now we're back to common sense. Like, I don't know. The Euro AI did the same thing, but now it's not. So let's kind of throw that one out as a. But we also need to know that it's showing development. All right, so enough of that one. The Euro AI did amazing with Florence, or I keep saying Florence, Francine. I'll be glad when that storm's out of here. I messed that thing up so much. So latest Euro AI. Basically showing you the little spin here next Tuesday, next Wednesday. Develops it and pulls it north, okay? It's been doing that. There's a frontal line. This is next Friday. So you get the idea. Yesterday's 18Z run kind of did that blocking into a high pressure system. So that was an odd run. It ran a spell where it made no sense. And then here's yesterday's morning run, and it did that weird thing back, but now it's kind of back to kind of what would make more sense, you know. So it did have quite a few runs doing that, but all in all, it's been showing this pulling up and doing that with the front coming in. So we'll see what the latest run is, but the latest one makes kind of the most sense. It's back to thinking something like that. So the latest actual Euro has picked this up. First time it has, and it's obviously a little slower developed next Monday. But it's, you know, it's showing 1,000 millibar here next Thursday. So the fact that it's trending to that idea, you know, that's the first time it's shown that. So that's next Thursday. So I mean, we got serious model support here, and we can kind of look into the future here. The Euro is really good at reading temperature maps. It used to be. It didn't do too good with a couple systems this year, but there is a weakness coming into play that this thing should be attracted to and get pulled northward. So that's kind of the steering pattern right now. Is a weakness coming down next week. There it is on the GFS. High pressure moves on out. Cold front comes down into play like normal. And lifts whatever, pushes that out, and kind of shoves it up through the gap. So, all right, the Canadian model has been doing amazing this year. Never thought I'd say that. Years ago it was the worst, but it's actually done really good the last few years. Here's the latest overnight model run. Basically showing you development Sunday this weekend, and then it's been really consistent on a north than a northeast turn. Went a little more north this time out, but I think the Canadian is really good about predicting development. Track isn't the best, but still, here's a Canadian, South Florida. You know, timing would be next. This is the fastest of the runs. This is next Tuesday morning. This is next Wednesday. Remember, lesson learned here. Let me go back to GFS. Lesson learned from Ian. Okay. Let's say this is next Friday. Okay. So everybody in South Florida is thinking landfall Friday, but you got to remember, if this thing turned here, this could be Wednesday, and this is what happened with Ian. It turned. Everybody was thinking Friday landfall, but it turned and it was a Wednesday landfall. So you got to kind of, prepare yourself that Florida's 2 days away in the Panhandle than it is down in South Florida. So you hear Florida landfall, we're expecting landfall on Friday, so you think, oh, Friday. But if you're in the Keys, that's actually Wednesday. Something to think about. And I don't have to remind people, we'll get into all the specifics of impacts once we have a system. We're just talking track right now, and I want to show model consistency right now. So the last few Canadian runs have been real consistent. So that's kind of, we're just going to leave it at that. Last 4 or 5 runs of the Canadian have been real consistent. We don't have an NBES yet, so there's no real spaghetti models. We don't have anything other than the operational models showing what ifs. The icon doesn't go out far enough. It only goes out 120 hours. But I guess if anything, it's starting to show low pressure in that same area getting developed. You can see a little piece of it here on Monday. So it's coming around. The icon is late to the game this season on all these systems. So Euro and icon are late to the game. The CMC and GFS seem like they're early in the game as far as predicting systems. So the icon is showing some sort of lowering pressure. And in these CAG setups, you get set up, you get systems on both sides. You get this whole general spin here going on, and sometimes we get a Pacific storm, sometimes we get a Gulf Atlantic Caribbean system. So, and then the KMA is my new favorite the last couple of years as far as sniffing things out, and it's been real consistent. Let's go back a couple days ago. It was showing that this was the 12th. It was showing, this is the 15th. So 2 days ago it showed that. The next run it showed that. Yesterday it showed that, and then overnight last night it showed that. So it's just got that feel, right? Anything here in this time of year usually is upper to eastern Gulf of Mexico. So there's nothing official yet. There's no National Hurricane Center mark yet. There's no reason to be concerned yet. It's just model support. But, I've gone beyond model support now in understanding whys. We look at this season, climatology. By the way, they've updated these maps. It's really awesome. They used to be a little older than this, but we look at late September systems. Obviously, it's hard to see those, I know, but there's still a tremendous amount of storms that get down here. And if you follow the tracks, these here typically are favored, obviously, upper to eastern Gulf over history. So that's a lot of spaghetti, I know. But if you like these maps, they're cool. They updated them this. Holy cow, they're updated all the way to 2023, man. That's awesome. So that is fresh data, man. Look at November. This is why I don't think our season's done. Trust me. Late season is. We've had systems pop down here in the Caribbean in the past that have pulled up and turned. Into Florida. So, I just got a cameo request. It's funny. So anyway, that's where we're at. We're on the H. We're not on the I storm. It would be Helene, Helene. Odd little name, Hurricane Helene. I got to start pronouncing it. Helene. KMA is not anywhere Delgado. I wish it was on my app, but it's on a paid site. It's only the only way I can see it is weathermodels.com. But yeah, that's where we're at. So, hey, I mean, if it was me, I lived along the upper Gulf, Eastern Gulf, West Coast, Florida, I'd be definitely paying attention close. I'm putting out Halloween stuff ahead of time, thinking that I'll be busy next week. So MJO's fascinating to me. Not a lot of talk about it going on, but we are looking at lighter upper level winds coming in, which can make storms develop a little better. Let's see the one map I want to show down here, where we're at. Oh, let's see. So this is September. Green. I always look at green as favorable conditions. So anyway, end of September, we're entering this phase right here, which could lead all the way through the month of October. And everybody thinks the season was a bust, and we don't have all the numbers. But I caution everybody. It doesn't matter how many names. It makes no difference if we have a lot of storms. It's the magnitude of the storms, okay? And the conditions are there for incredible storms. Like, looking at this ocean heat content. I know that, Debbie or Francine didn't have the impacts some were expecting. Good news, right? They were all expecting it to be, like a barrel, but every storm's different. It was a sloppy system that got going again at landfall, but Barrel was a Cat 5 that came out of nowhere. So, we look at the water temperature, ocean heat content right now currently in the Gulf of Mexico, Caribbean, and we're at record areas right now. Look at this. I mean, this is where we are, the red dot, over since 2013. This is the ocean heat content below the surface. Greg, I know. What's up, buddy? What kind of cooler? We got a cooler? We got to get a better cooler? I'll start reading comments here in a second. But ocean heat content in this area of the Caribbean is the hottest it's been this time. Now, last year it got even hotter, 2023, but we had a lot of wind shear last year with El Nino. Now we're in La Nina, but this is your 10-year, 11-year average down here in blue. So our ocean heat content's hot. The Gulf of Mexico ocean heat content is hot, hottest it's ever been. Little cool down. Now, see, this is tricky too because it cooled down. This is the whole region of the Gulf of Mexico. Still the hottest it's been ever since 2013. That's fuel. But if you look at the actual anomaly map here, it's because of this. This is showing you the Western Gulf because of most recently Francine and Debbie and Beryl and Alberto. A lot of action in the Western Gulf, but the Eastern Gulf is still quite a bit above normal and plenty hot. You don't look at the blue. The blue just means it's cooler than normal. It's not cold up there. It's just a degree below what the 30-year average is. Still hot. And it might be hotter by next week. That's just a temporary cool down here because of what we just saw. This is a 7-day change. This is the temperature. I haven't had any coffee yet. What the hell's going on, man? Everybody cup. Let's cheers. There's Louie. Cheers. Braxton, how'd you fare up there in Wilmington, man? A lot of rain, right? There's a lot of eyes. We don't want any more ice storms, or Greg. Is what it is. Yep, just be prepared. That's right. We just know the conditions are. Michael Sumner, the track of Michael was pretty solid. The things that they missed on that was the intensity initially was way underestimated officially, but even though the models were different. So we look at models a lot, and models usually don't steer us wrong. For sure. Joshua, thanks for the Jacksonville invitation. Aaron's, you're true that barrel high pressure was definitely a steering mechanism and changed a lot. 14 inches, oh my God. Tammy, you can't say it's not coming anywhere, but there are so yeah. Shelly Reedlove, what's up? How's the Keys down there? Yeah, Cheyenne, I'm telling you, the no-name storm up there for the Carolinas was terrible yesterday. Rainfall, man, jeez. It has been the year of floods, I'm telling you. I've just never seen nothing like it. I don't know what's going on, but we're talking everywhere. Like, you know, one of the biggest stories wasn't even reported on was western parts of New Orleans after Francine went by, and Kenner, where I was at. My God, I mean, it was like the most terrible. Well, I talked to government officials up there and said it's the worst they've ever seen. So again, you know, every storm has its own little impacts, man, and you know, we all get wrapped up in this category strength, and it's like, you know. People want to see a Cat 4, you know, and they want to see damage, and then they get mad when there's not damage. Oh, what a bust. But I'm just, you know, I'm just very cautious to use adjectives anymore. I don't use adjectives at all, but I just, you know, I just try to be consistent and neutral and tell you what I'm thinking and what I'm seeing and a little bit of history, a little bit of gut. And this one's got that vibe. This could, you know, I say this could be the one. You know, I hate to say it, but every season's got that one system that defines a, you know, season. And I mean, this one's just unfortunately getting that weird Western Caribbean Gulf look that we've seen all too common lately. I haven't even looked at ensembles yet. And I know there's people cringing right now, like, you know, Mike, why are you doing? Why are you sharing this stuff? But, you know, God, you got to go back to what you always have done, and most of the time it works. We look at models, we look at history, we look at, you know, conditions, and Greg, you're an ass. Greg just says, those are all adjectives. Consistent, neutral. I was not very good in English class, so. But we did talk about North Carolina size. I went back and looked at a couple of my videos 2 days ago, and I talked about double-digit rains. I said it could be sneaky. I said there's modeling that's showing double-digit rains. Don't get caught off. It looks like a rain event, North Carolina mainly. So. So a lot to watch, man. I'm really watching this close. My biggest dilemma now is when do I put up my 12-foot skeleton? I think I'm going to wait because I don't want that flying on my charger. What's up, Jonathan? How you been, man? Haven't seen you in a while, Mr. over there on YouTube. So anyway, let's look at some ensemble. These are very important to look at. Can't believe I forgot. I love ensembles. I tell everybody this is how. Only look at ensembles, and then I show operational runs. Well, I only show operational runs because they're so consistent right now. So we can look at Weather Nerds. He's got a good plot. You know, Travel Tidbit's got cool weather ensembles too. So if you go to forecast models, go to Ensemble, hit EPS, change your region now to maybe, I don't know, west. Well, we're trying to get really close here, but Western Atlantic. And then go to lower dynamics, hit Ensemble member MSLP, and you can kind of feel by the color growth here that confidence increases. Next Monday, Tuesday, we could start to see lowering pressures, but you get confused past that. So the only thing I really like about ensembles is it develops the consistency of the idea. Here's the GFS ensembles pulling up something early next week. This is Monday. Even the Canadian ensembles obviously are very, very confident of something coming up midweek. Canadian's the fastest of the models, but like I said, it could be as early as Monday. That would be an extreme outlier, but we could start to see effects as early as Monday night for South Florida if this thing's sped up. And right now it's not an it, so we're just talking what ifs. And then Weather Nerds ensembles here. I like to zoom in. You can really zoom in here. I found a new way to put two on one page, but we'll do this right here. We'll do that right there. Well, actually, to make the screen sexier, we'll do that. So we zoom in, then we hit loop, and then we hit fast forward, and we can really get this thing going here faster. And we start to see them popping up a little bit here. And this is next Wednesday. So what do these mean? All right, so let's talk about this. So every one of these L's is the end of the spaghetti line, and this is where every one of these L's could be next Wednesday morning. All right, these are the strengths. You know me and strengths. I'm not really sold on the strengths as much as the track early on, but this is telling you there's 51 members of the Euro, and there's quite a few. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, over half of them, I could safely say, are saying something could be here in these L's next Wednesday morning. That's all. And you start to feel that little turn. You start to feel that lift. You kind of. Everybody do it with me. And that's 10 days out. This would be next Thursday actually. So we could, that's next week, man. GFS ensembles. We're gonna loop it. And we'll take a look at the GFS ensembles. Same thing. Here is next Saturday. We're starting to see low pressures developing as early as Sunday morning. Coming down. Little lift here Monday. And you can see, there's some missing Florida. There's always that chance that they could pull and miss. Which could mean the East Coast watching. You saw the one that went through the state and hugged the East Coast, but the general history says that, and it, and we got quite a few of the GFS pretty strong, so it's definitely leaning on the last run. Is this a 6Z? Yeah, we have 00Z. I don't think we have the 6Zs yet, but these run 4 times a day. They're going to change a little. Like I said, all I'm looking at is the general trends and the ideas and history and steering patterns more than anything that far out. All right, whoa, that really makes it look clear. Did I show you the KMA? I did show you the KMA. So, all right. Well, that might be all I got to say about that. The A-Bear box, Brandy. The A-Bear, what is the A-Bear box? Well, it wouldn't really come into play here, I don't think. Well, yeah, it does, actually. It has to be a Cat 3. The A-Bear box is only if it's a major hurricane. There's 2 areas right here. The theory is if it passes through one of these boxes as a major hurricane, then South Florida's at risk. That's the theory. Any major hurricane here, chances are it hits Florida. That's the A-Bear box. Hey, big shout out. My buddies at Low Country Lubricants in Georgia sent me a cool little bottle koozie and supporting us a little bit. They from a town called Pooler, which I had friends that grew up there. Anthony, I don't think you're watching me, but Anthony, his mom, and them had an RC car track in Pooler. And I think they still race up there. So, small world, man. Pooler, Georgia. Tampa Storm, John Paul, hey, you know, it's got that feel that it could be. Icon says no. Well, Brad, it doesn't go out far enough. That's the problem. The latest Icon actually is showing it's starting to form. The 6Z doesn't go out far enough, but the 00Z does, and the 00Z shows lowering pressure here starting to develop right here. So the Icon is showing low pressure starting to develop. Julie's at T-Mobile getting a new phone right now. So poor girl. I heard this about 2 years ago. A year ago. You can't hear out of her. So we had a weird story with Emily last night. So I took Julie's phone and I couldn't hear out of it. I'm like, why can't you hear out of your phone? She's like, oh, it's been that way for a couple of years. I have to use it on speaker or use headphones. I'm like, why'd you go just get another phone? It's like 4 years old. No, so she's down there getting a new phone. Emily thought somebody was following her home yesterday. Luckily, we live in an awesome neighborhood. We know everybody in our neighborhood. I got everybody on phone. So we tracked this person that she thought was following her. Turned out some dude was selling something and they didn't know the area and they were circling our neighborhood. And I think they jumped out to try to get Emily's help and she thought they were chasing her. And I think they were just going to ask her for directions. But you can see, I even called the Pinellas County Sheriffs. And I'm like, listen, I sound weird, but if I feel bad if I don't say something. You know, I said there's a weird black car in our neighborhood. And so nothing happened. But I couldn't hear. I'm like, call me back on my phone. So Lord knows what she's getting conned into right now. So no reason to be nervous, anybody. This is not, and for those that think the season's over, shame on you. It's not. Season can last deep into October and even November. Conditions are there. Just because we haven't had anything you think yet. You know, believe it or not, I read a stat that the United States since like 1900 has only averaged 1.5 hurricane landfalls a year or something like that. We've already had 3 landfalling hurricanes this season, okay? So technically, it's really not been a bust. I mean, I don't know. Everybody, I think, defines a season if you get hit or not. But there's a lot of, Beryl was bad. Debbie was bad. Flooding was terrible with Debbie. Power, Beryl. Francine was bad for a lot of folks in lower Louisiana. This no-name storm was bad. So it does, Alberta was bad. So it doesn't, it's weird to see the fact that we've had 3 hurricanes already hit the United States and normally we only have 1.5. So anyway, that's all I got to say about that. So yes, Michael was 6 years ago. That's why we changed the name to Milton. Is it Milton? Milton's the new name. Francine replaced Florence, which was also 6 years ago. Nobody should say the word worried. I hope I made that clear. Juanita, I was up there with you. You had a cat too. The wind's pretty strong. I know. Pretty rough for a lot of folks up there. Grumpy, I think there's already models showing major hurricane. Yes. Jamie, you missed a lot. It's not supposed to hit Florida, Chris. But if it did hit Florida. Which is nothing right now, but if something were to come to Florida, I could see the Keys as early as late Monday into Tuesday starting to feel it. More like midweek, towards the end of the week, next week. If it goes to the Panhandle, it could be later in the week. If it hits west side of Florida, it could be Wednesday, Thursday. And that means it affects through the whole state. I don't have to remind anybody from Ian how much rain we've had here in Florida this year. And my big concern is these floods that we're seeing, like I've never seen before. These floods that we're seeing, you know, Ian did not stall over Florida, but Ian brought a lot of rain to Florida, and Ian had a lot of flooding. So it doesn't take a stalling system to create havoc. We saw that yesterday. So, Harina, what'd you miss? hit the replay. I've been talking an hour. So, we're saturated, Mike Soul. But we'll just keep a track. That's what we do here. If you've been following, I've been going live since 2016, right? We track these things. We talk about the what ifs. I try to prepare people with my messaging. Again, we were on the state with FDM this morning already. They're already planning ahead. They were asking my input. That's how it starts, the possibilities, right? Then the National Hurricane Center will, put the crayon up, and the panic level goes up a little bit. We don't have an invest yet because there's no low pressure yet. So it's really hard to predict. This could all be a bust. But I've never seen a system bust like this if it has a lot of model support. So the only one this season that really got me was Debbie. Debbie took a long time to develop. Or was it Debbie? I think it was Debbie. I don't even remember now. No, it's Francine. I don't even remember now. Well, one of them took forever to develop because it never had a center of circulation. And that was my blunder. I should have, even though the models are showing a hurricane in the Eastern Caribbean, there was no yet circulation. And common sense should have said, hey, this thing has got a lot of forward speed. There's a lot of wind shear to the north. There's no lower level winds to help get it going. It can't develop a center yet going that fast. So the models were pretty much wrong, except for the KMA. The KMA never showed it developing until it got to the Yucatan. So lesson learned. We scratch that one off and we move on, and we know that the models are now really aggressive on something maybe coming up now. So that's kind of where we're at. A lot of rain in Miami, Harina. Yes, it's raining right now. What we got going on now, man, we got this stalled out frontal line system right here. We got a front that's bringing a lot of rain. The front's like that, but we're going to have storms today in the East Coast to watch as they start to pop here with a lot of instability. Future radar. Let's take a look at that for Florida today, because that's the hot spot for storms. East Coast specifically. This is what we could be seeing later today. Just some random little isolated thunderstorms develop. Our frontal line, this is noon, 1 o'clock, so heavy rain down the Keys, heavy rain South Florida, Palm Beach, but we're starting to see these little storms popping here that could be isolated, but enough to, be sneaky, stormy today. See these little isolated storms, and the flow is west to east. And that's why the Storm Prediction Center is showing that chance. I don't think we have tornado chances. We just have mainly winds, severe wind, thunderstorms in the brown today from that frontal line. So there you go. Still got some rain coming in north there. That radar cuts it out, but Gordon's still out there. It's going north. No worries. Way east of Bermuda. Hey, all I got to say about that. So I was talking to my buddy Jason. We're going to Talladega in 3 weeks. They're going to be there with a semi truck of generators at an amazing price. So if you know anybody going to Talladega, we're going to be hanging out on the boulevard, and they're going to have their big semi truck right there at the entrance to Talladega Speedway, and they're going to be offering phenomenal deals. Okay, so can't wait to hang with my boys from Furman. I fired mine up yesterday. I backed the Mustang out. It's amazing the battery doesn't go dead, but you should make sure you keep a little trickle charger. All these are remote push button start now, which is great, man. I got a dang callus trying to start a little gas engine the other day. It's my middle finger. I'm not pointing my middle finger at you. I'm simply showing you. I'm showing you that. That is pull start. I think it was a weed whacker. Wouldn't start. And everybody gets blisters. I'm like, ugh. So thank God for power starting electric generators now. But anyway, if you don't run your generator, make sure that battery's charged. Because when you need it, you got to make sure the battery's charged. So I run mine you're supposed to run it every month. But it's fired right up, man. You're ready to go. Maybe that was a sign. Mike, start the generator. Make sure it works. Make sure it's, ready to go. Because next week, I might be using it. Never know. What's up? Lowe's in North Atlantic next week. What's going on there, Glenn? I don't know about any Lowe's next week. I know we had this frontal line. All these are going to lift north from that front line. There's a few showing. Nothing. I don't think there's anything out of the norm. But yeah, I mean, it's the season. GFS showing 949. Man, that was bad. It wasn't that long ago. GFS wasn't showing anything. Erica, you just text me. What do you want? What's going on? Oh, there you go. Yeah, it could be a sign, Erica. All right, well, that's it. We're going to be live. I'm going to do a little quickie later on today. Watch for that little 90-second recap of what's going on. I might do one now that everything's fresh in my head. I might do one now. That's when it's best, when it's fresh in my head. We'll be live tomorrow. Tomorrow's Wednesday. If we get to that point that we start seeing real possibilities, and we'll start doing nightly lives, and then we'll probably do one this weekend, obviously. So probably more than likely we'll be doing a live over the weekend up to this thing. So stay tuned here. I'll try to keep everybody up to date with the latest. Remember, spaghettimodels.com. A lot of people don't even know I have a website. Believe it or not, it's millions of people who use the website. A lot of people that use the website don't follow social, but a lot of people on social don't even know I have a website. So there you go. I have an app that I keep updated. They just did an update. Some of the older Androids, including mine, wasn't updating correctly. The new tabs, but they are now. So, like Gordon's tab is right there. You click on it. I send out alerts. So, pretty happy with the app. So just look for it on my website. But anyway, I'll try to keep everybody up to date as always. You can find me on Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, and X. 5 platforms, and all the latest and greatest info hopefully will be here. Don't forget this. Yeah, I checked it last night, Shelly. Bob, it wasn't there last night, Bob. I checked about 3 o'clock, but I'm going to check right now when we sign off. But a lot of great supporters. Hey, listen, another one I need to point out is this. In fact, I'm going to do a post right here. So my good friend Paul, big partner with the state of Florida, not only Florida, but the whole world. Paul makes these flood devices that they put up around substations for power. They secure buildings, seawalls. Huge part of Florida's East Coast when we had Ian and Nicole. They make a homeowner kit, believe it or not. I did a cool little video here, putting one together, showing you. So, great company, great partner with the state of Florida, good friends of mine, and they have a really nifty home unit that when you don't use it, you can put it in a little bag and put it away. So it's an alternative to sandbags. Really easy to put together, and it works really good. It uses water, and so when you're done, you drain it 2 seconds and put it away, and it actually works. So if you have any doorways that are prone to flooding, this is the product you need, because sandbags are only really designed to prevent the sloshing of winds and rains. It does, they're not really designed to, if your house is going to go under 4 feet of water. It's everybody's got an area that's prone to water being pushed in, a doorway, a garage, or a door out of your garage. I mean, into the house, or your front door, or your back door by the pool. So anyway, I'm gonna post it. It's a good product, and a lot of folks get it, and they are excited about it. And we hang out at the Governor's Hurricane Conference a lot, so I have a little link there for him. Plus, he gives me some beer money, and that doesn't hurt too. So, right, Greg? They needed it up there. You're right, Greg. They sure did, man. Holy cow. So anyway, all right, we're gonna sign off here. It's been an hour of great chatting. Hope you enjoyed the content. And if you're new, welcome. If you're old, thank you. If you're a hater, thank you, Dan, specifically. You might need to start amping up your coverage up there a little bit. Thanks for watching. So we'll see you tomorrow. All right, I'm going to keep it on the Brew Crew now for a little bit. And we're going to chat over there, okay? See ya later, alligators.